Welcome back everybody, Harry P. from the Driftless Homestead. Today we're back out in the garden. So as you can see, I assembled cattle panels all the way around my garden for several reasons. One, to keep the Wonder Dog Duke out. Two, last year the deer jumped in my garden as soon as I had kale and ate all the kale. So we want to try to keep the deer out, so save the kale for us. And then three, that's my tomato trellis. So I'll grow tomatoes and cucumbers up the sides of the cattle panel, so it'll be all green there when we go to it, when everything starts to grow up. So what we're doing in the garden today, you can see my garlic is looking phenomenal that I planted last year. Today, what we're going to do is, remember we're doing the back to Eden method or a wood chip deep mulch method of gardening, and what this does is it holds this moisture in the soil. As the wood chips decompose, they make nice black dirt, humus and stuff, and they just keep pushing down, and it makes my black dirt deeper and deeper. What we had here before I started was just dry sand. It wouldn't hardly even grow grass. So now with the wood chips, as soon as I put them down, worms came in, so they start digesting things. But to aid in the building of the soil underneath the wood chips, I bought some Winecap mushrooms that we're going to plant in the garden today. And the Winecap mushroom is a wood digester. It's going to send the decomposing wood down into the ground. The other thing is that if you look at Paul Stamets's book, Mycelium Running, he's got lots of pictures in there and examples of where he planted mycelium in his garden, and the mycelium worked with the plant roots, and he had many more roots, and the plants were much larger when they had the mycelium partner. And it's kind of like in the woods when the mushrooms grow out in the woods associated with trees, they're working with that tree or that tree roots to get at the nutrients. And that's why, like the elm tree, when the elm tree dies, it sends off a signal to the mushrooms, and the mushrooms are like, our host is dying, we have to reproduce, and that's why they send up the fruiting body or the mushroom. So today we're going to plant the mycelium spawn in the garden. I made 2 rows to put it in. That's kind of on the edge of the garden, and then this fall I'll even put some more in the center of the garden, but it should really spread out. And after it takes hold, I could actually physically spread it by digging pieces of it up and moving it towards the center of the garden to spread it out and get the mycelium working throughout the garden and making some tasty Winecap mushrooms for ourselves. So we're going to get to it today. So as I moved the wood chips back, all the wood chips underneath, didn't have to dig down very deep, were moist. This is how the Winecap mushroom comes. It comes in a sawdust spawn, a big block, and you just kind of break it up and put it underneath there, and then it'll take off. And 2 to 10 months you'll have fruiting. So I would think that this fall we would have some Winecap mushrooms, but definitely next year. But it's the primary goal here isn't the mushrooms. The primary goal here is to start digesting the wood chips. And when you do the wood chip method, never mix the wood chips into the dirt. You just keep adding things to the top, and then it keeps pushing it down. So I'll show you how easy this is. break it up and sprinkle it on. Here's something else we do too. You know, I always tell you that burning wood is a green thing to do because the trees are a renewable resource. So then we save the wood ashes, and in the wood ashes, there's always chunks of unburnt wood. This is biochar. This goes right into the garden. And then we go easy on the ashes because the ashes are potash. And they're a good nutrient to the garden too. So kind of easy on the ashes, and then lots of biochar will take all of that. And then what we're going to do with the rest of the ashes in the upcoming video is we're going to make soap, because that's how they made soap originally. Here we go. We're just going to cover the moist wood chips back over the spawn, just like it was. And let them do their thing. So what the wood chips kind of modulate the moisture here is, you know, they keep everything moist underneath there. Like I said, you know, in prior videos, that I don't think I ever watered my garden last year. When I was in North Dakota, I did, because it was so dry and so hot. I could tell that the plants were stressed out, but I only did it once or twice when it was over 100 degrees. Okay, that's that side. Now we'll go on the other side there. I did another trench in the wood chips. You know, I know everybody, when they garden, they're trained. It's in their head that you got to get in here and rototill up the garden every year to loosen up the soil, and it does. And I did the same thing. Actually, I've got a rototiller for sale if you want to buy one. Yeah, you don't have to rototill. You just keep adding stuff to the top, and it just keeps adding good, enriching the soil. I don't dig up the plants when they die either. I just cut them off even, because leaving the roots from the plants into the ground creates air channels that feed the bacteria in the mycelium that helps it grow as it goes through. So you want to leave those roots in the ground, decomposing, creating those air channels. The worms love you for it. So everybody goes to Walmart and buys worm castings because it's a rich nutrient for your garden or your soil. Why not just grow worms out here? And the wood chips are going to help us grow worms. And when you rototill, you chop up all your worms. Now, I'm sure the decomposing worms help out, but then they're not leaving worm castings for the garden. They're also not loosening up and breaking up your soil. So that's another good reason not to rototill. Also, in case I forgot to mention it, we got the Winecap mushrooms from Field and Forest Products. We'll put a link in the video below so that you can go there and order your own Winecap mushrooms to get your own wood chip, get back the Eden garden going. And then, you know, that's also where I order the shiitake mushroom plugs for doing the mushroom logs, which we're going to be doing mushroom logs coming up here real quick. So let me cover these up. Thanks for showing up today. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and hit that like button. Make a comment. Tell me what you're doing in your garden to help it be successful. And subscribe and share with your friends. Thanks for showing up and have a great day.